All right, so I think not too many people actually disagree with this list. So of course, with every new fighting game that comes out, people always tend to have the same common question: which character should I play, or who would you recommend for a beginner? So of course, Tekken has a mixed variety when it comes down to hard to easy difficulty of characters. So today's video, we're actually going to be teaming up with my good buddy Kelvin to put together a tier list for easy to hard mode characters. All right, so Kelvin, my good right-hand man, he is an OG when it comes down to the fighting games. This man knows his knowledge, so he will be teaming up with me today to help put together this easy to hard mode tier list. Easy mode in the middle, hard. I think it's only fair that we start off with Steve Fox. You know, it's my character, so why not get him out the way nice and early?
Wow, okay, gotcha. No character bias, by the way.
Yeah, no character bias whatsoever. I think it's only right that he goes into the hard category, right? You know, nothing easy about him. Character comes with all kind of stances, flicker cancels. His combos require a good amount of execution, even though he was made more easy compared to Tekken 7. But if anybody asks me, is Steve a pick up and go beginner friendly character, my answer will always be no. So Kelvin, how do you feel about that?
Even though I want to disagree, I do agree. He's very, very technical when it comes to a lot of his combo setups. He has a lot of stances that you really have to keep in mind, especially if you're trying to apply pressure. He doesn't have a lot of reach. He doesn't have traditional kicks, so he does need to take his time, play small Tekken. He really has to play the game in order for him to actually get any good defense and offense in. And his comeback mechanic is really not there for most characters. You know, with Rage, he has a little something, but otherwise, yeah, he's really got to work to get those wins. So I agree. He's hard. He's a hard character to pick up and play. Now he's still strong now, but you know he's
oh, no, I'm not gonna disregard the fact that he's strong. Like, he's hella good. I'm not even gonna argue that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know how to shake and bake Ricky Bobby. You know, we fighting characters that got hella tracking, so if we sidestep the wrong way, we still getting hit. Like, you know, we gotta calculate out every move when it comes down to Steve. You know, definitely going into the hard category.
Every move, huh? I got you.
I mean, all right. Well, since I did my character, since that's who I main, I think it's only right that the next character is actually the person that Kelvin mains. So, how do you feel about Mr. Harangutan?
All right, so Mr. Harangutan is crazy. I'm gonna say it like this. So while Rang is definitely gonna be a lot more easier to pick up and just mash, as long as you know how to throw out your kicks, you know, 3-4, you're gonna do some type of damage. You're gonna have some type of reach. He starts to get a lot more difficult once you start to get kind of mid-level, because his execution on his combos is where his difficulty kind of comes in play. Also, if you don't know where he's stepping, how he's supposed to be stepping, and also his stances, you lose out on a lot of damage. He's really going to be whiff punishing, launching. That's kind of his whole setup.
Right.
And applying pressure in between that. So when he is not launching you, he's going to get up in your face, which in itself is a bit of a danger. And he's going to try to mix you. If you figure out his mix, then he has to back out. So yeah, in my opinion, I'm going to put him in the middle. He's average when it comes to the difficulty spike. Because yeah, you can just pick him up and kick with him, but if you want to get good, you're going to have to learn. learn a number of things, including the game's gravity. Because you have to juggle combo and launch combo, and if you don't learn those launches, you're going to drop a lot.
Okay, cool. So it's real easy to just pick him up and kick with him, but if you really want to get that next level stuff, you'll say he's mid when it comes down to easy though. Okay, cool. Jack 8, heavy body, heavy artillery.
So I used to say that Jack is very, I don't want to necessarily say hard, but he was very limited in the last few games. In this particular game, I really do think that's changed. He has a lot of different options now when it comes to his armor stances. His movement isn't that bad. He's really good at whiff punishing, like very, very good at whiff punishing. And he's really good at also applying pressure at really awkward angles. So he has lows that reach out way further than some other people's lows, and that are usually pretty safe. Not saying that, of course, you know, that's going to be easy for someone to just kind of know, because he is, you know, a big giant robot, right? So a lot of people don't know, like, what is this command grab? How does this Lowe's actually work? So I would honestly probably put him middle, just because, like, you do have to kind of learn how to play him. But once you do learn how to play him, he's pretty simple.
All right, so what you're saying is that when it comes down to the space control and the mind games, it's going to be a pick your spot battle, saying that he is on the slower end. Like, he's heavy body, not really fast.
Right, exactly. Like, he's got fast normals and fast, like, lows and fast punches, but he's not fast himself when it comes to movement. He's got a pretty decent backdash, so he's defensive, but his forward movement and his walk speed are not going to be good. So, you know, he's got to work to kind of do a few things.
All right, Mr. Jin Kazama. All right, so I can actually put a little input in on this. Now, I know from Tekken 7 and previous Tekkens, you know, Mishimas have always been heavy wave dashing, you know, just frames on their God Fist in order to get the plus frames for the electric. Now, Jin was made to be more easy and pick up and go for Tekken 8. And I brought up a website that actually broke down why each character is considered strong, so on and so on. So Higher Rank being more complex. Yes, once again we had to bring it up for the video. His moveset was complex given his popularity as a cover star. Tekken 8 makes a lot of his stuff easier for newbies. He has a tool for every situation. His moveset has been simplified to make it obvious when you should use specific actions. He's a great character to learn Tekken 8's mechanics, and on top of that, he looks super cool with similar variety to Sasuke from Naruto. So how do you feel about this, Kelvin? Because based off the information and easier for Tekken 8, he might find a spot in easy mode.
Right, so here's what I'm going to say about it, and this one's going to be kind of tough because I kind of want there to be like an in-between easy and mid, because he does still have some of his more traditional Mishima qualities, right? You still need to know how to do a just frame electric to use his electric hook fist.
Right.
You still need to be able to, you know, learn, okay, when is it proper for me to go forward, to go ahead and dash up, your spacing, where to step. But yeah, they did make him a lot easier compared to Tekken 7. In Tekken 7, you had to become a god for him to really become strong. In this game, you really could just hit down 2 and then you're already doing counter hit launches. So it's not even comparable to Tekken 7. So I'm still gonna probably put him in easy because I still see a lot of new players mashing with him and he's still winning. He's still doing damage.
So is it safe to say that Jin is definitely like the Ryu and Ken of Tekken? Like, if somebody's new to Tekken and they're curious about who to play, the first option could probably be Jin.
For this game, absolutely.
Okay, all right. So since a young whippersnapper like me, right, is very new to Tekken, I think it's only right that I could probably pick up Jin, because you know I'm over here stressing, trying to play. Hear me out.
Okay, Mr. Cap, go ahead.
Mr. Capatry.
Yes, Mr. Capatry. Yes, absolutely, sir.
I'm over here catching gray hairs, trying to execute everything I need to execute, when I could just sell my soul and play Jin. Jin, I didn't even know this character existed. I ain't gonna lie to you. This character apparently made an entrance in Tekken 2, I think you said. No, Tekken Tag 2 and Tekken 3.
But she has her own Kazama style. So Kazama style is very different from Mishima styles in a number of ways. Kazama style is a lot about defense, parries, cartwheels, kind of predictable but somewhat ambiguous lows. So a lot more Asuka, a lot less Kazuya, if that makes any sense.
Okay, all right. So she's the mother of Jin, but she doesn't carry that bloodline whatsoever.
When she does use some of her special powers, it actually does take some of her health. So she has to spend a little health. Yes, she has to spend a little health to get some of those damage rings out. So I would say she's kind of an average character, I should say, to pick up and play.
Kazuya Mishimas.
When it comes to Kaz, Kazuya, he is traditionally very, very Tekken. And what I mean by that is he has very straightforward offense.
Yep.
That if you don't know how to play Tekken, you're not going to get far. He does have good tools, He has Hell Sweep. He has a number of Twin Pistons. You can't just pick up Kazuya and start mashing buttons like everybody else. Or otherwise you will probably lose even on those early ranks, on those early games. Even though they did give him a lot of stuff to kind of make him more accessible, I still feel like he's a lot more difficult than he probably should be. So I would actually put him in hard. I think he's pretty difficult to pick up and play.
Before I picked up Steve, Kazuya was actually somebody I aimed to play, and it actually got me quite far just being able to expose the, I think it's the 1-1 low kick into the mid. And then, of course, you have the Hell Sweep, the traditional God Fist, so on and so on.
It's not going to give you a whole lot of just strings off the bat that you're going to know how to do. So that's where, in my opinion, the difficulty kind of spikes as he makes you learn how to play him.
All right, so basically, besides Jin saying that this is Tekken 8, Mishimas are traditionally not easy to play. Okay, so
that's
with
very
that,
true.
Fast forward a little bit and say that Devil Jin could be put in the hard category as well?
Here's what I'm going to say about Devil Jin in this game. I want to say that yes, he's very difficult to play at times because again, he's a Mishima. He still needs to know how to do electrics, all that fun stuff. That being said, he's very much a character that if you do match with him, he's gonna do something wild. Right. Now, will it be good? Probably not. You may get caught out, doing a dash in when you really don't want to, or his hop kick is not like a traditional hop kick per se. So he can get caught with a lot of things, and he has a lot of knowledge that you kind of have to keep in mind when you're playing him. So I still want to put him in hard, but he's a lot easier and more accessible in this game in particular.
So Jin is the only Mishima that's a pick up and go?
Nah, there's another one that's maybe pick up and go, but I don't want to necessarily spoil yet.
I forgot. All right, so since we're on the Mishima hype train, I guess it's only right to bring in the new edition, the new member of the bloodline, the Heihachi remake. Reina. Me personally, based off of what I've seen from this character, she looked like she's all about strings, getting a punish, and then forcing a guess off the hit. I don't know if that's hard to do. I'm not sure how her inputs are looking, but I'm tempted to put her in easy.
I do feel like Reina has a little bit more depth to her than what people give her credit for. She does have a lot of strings and a lot of things that you can do off the bat. So I am going to still probably lean towards her being easy. She also has a input for wave dashing that doesn't require for her to actually do a traditional one, which is really nice.
Really?
Yeah. Also that too, because she does have a lot of Heihachi moves, and Heihachi is traditionally not easy to play either.
Right.
He's easier sometimes than like Kazuya, but yeah, he's still not something that you would just pick up and go with too much. So yeah, I would probably lean for her towards being average on her difficulty, and then in the middle somewhere.
King. It's easy to grab somebody, but I'm pretty sure it's a little bit more to it than that.
King. So, okay, this character is
this character. Tricks, where you at?
If I'm gonna be completely honest, King used to definitely be more on the harder / average side in the older games. You have to make sure to hide your grab attempts because grabs can be ducked. In this game, they have given him so many different tools and reworks to his kit because of heat that I'm tempted to place him in easy. One, he has his heat mechanic where basically he dashes at you, he's armored, and he puts you into the RPS situation that is usually going to be in his favor.
Right.
So he can hit you with a high grab that is not breakable. He can hit you with a tracking mid, so if you try to sidestep the run, he can track you and get you with the mid. Or he can hit you with a drop kick low that if you mistime it, it'll actually jump over other lows. Personally, I'm gonna say, easy. If I'm being real.
Tricks, you
that's
hear that?
Probably a controversial. That's probably a controversial one. I know. But I'm gonna say he's pretty easy to play.
Anywho, moving on. Lars. This is actually another character that I used to mess around with. His strings and his dashing, it may seem kind of difficult, but once you get behind the character, he's pretty straightforward. Like, it's not too bad. Now, I don't know how he is in Tekken 8, but based off of what I used to see.
Well, that's the thing with Lars. He can be played straightforward, but he's not always straightforward. Like, he actually still has 3 stances, technically, that he has to go in and out of.
Right.
And so, for me, personally, that's going to be like, hey, I don't think any beginner's really going to understand, like, how that works. Like, you can still master Lars and, like, you know, do some stuff. You're going to look cool doing it. But are you going to be safe doing it? Probably not. So, me personally, I'm going to say he's more on the average side. Even though he's a lot easier in this game than like the last game. Less execution barriers on some of his stances. But he still does have 3 of them.
All right. Martial law. Everybody loves the Karate Man. If I'm a new player and I see somebody that's similar to Bruce Lee, I don't mind just picking up going with Hell Sweep, Will Kicks, so on and so on.
Law is a challenge. And the reason why Law is a challenge is because I still feel like he's really easy to pick up and mash with.
Right.
I think you can mash with Law and get offense going. You know, the classic 1-1-1, mash that out, right? I'm leaning kind of towards hard. Maybe average, but
So because of his stat, actually, and you know what, you actually right, because being able to time his stance into his cancels will really alter if you get proper stagger pressure going, combo routes. All right, chat, do y'all agree with hard? I feel like chat just sitting back chilling, listening to our input. Because normally when we do Street Fighter tier lists, everybody and their mama be like, nah, easy mode, nah.
Yeah, well, everyone's got an input, but you know, this is Tekken, and we're more of a Street Fighter group.
Paul, now, Mr. One Punch Man, all right, what could be difficult about him, if he's even hard? Pick him up, punch, make him bleed.
All right, so in defense of Paul,
oh Lord,
hey now, I agree that Paul is easy, and I'm gonna probably stick with easy, but he does have moves that require for you to know how to do the inputs, especially like for instance his Death Fist. You know, it's quarter circle. So if you're not used to doing motion inputs in Tekken, you know, you kind of have to pick that up. But that being said, I do feel like, yeah, he only needs like 6 moves and then he can win the game. At like almost all levels. Really strange lows. You guys do have, you know, Demo Man and inputs you guys have to keep in mind. But yeah, your character is easy, dog. Like, you just really need to time your hits. You need to time your hits, you're gonna win the game. In 4 interactions, if that.
All right, Nina. I used to try and play this character, all right? I used to try. When I tell you I had to stop, I had to stop. I couldn't wrap my head around the stance cancels, the dipping and dodging. Bad enough I was trying my best to learn Steve, but when I had to play Mama Steve and find out what she was doing, I had to put her down. So if she not in the hard category, I don't know where she gonna be at.
Nah, we have the same input. Because honestly, just her movement alone, in my opinion, puts her in hard. Because she does have a lot of additional things you have to keep in mind when it comes to her movement and cancels.
Right.
That being said, I do think some of her strings are not as hard as what people will say. I'm gonna say hard.
Okay, cool. Like, for any new person that feel like, oh, Nina look cool design-wise, should I play her as a beginner, saying that I never touched Tekken a day in my life? So it's cool to say that we could just say, hell no, right? Hell no. Ain't no.
Hey, I'm gonna say Nina makes you learn how to play Nina. If you go off of Nina and play another character, you're gonna be like, oh, I don't even know. This game is different.
Exactly.
it's a lot easier than what you think it is.
You said Nina's average on some chill stuff, but if you want to master her, she is hard. Nina Heat Smash is OD with the chip damage. All right. Xiao Yu, another stance character, dipping and dodging, ducking low, evading. Definitely has stances.
Yeah.
She's mid.
So Xiao Yu in this game, let me preface that now, right? In older games, some older games, I do think she's a bit harder. In this game, I really do think like she's mid.
Tekken 8 basically is similar to Street Fighter 6 and Strive. It's the I'm gonna welcome you in with less difficulty and hope you have fun. So a lot of these characters has definitely been made easier to welcome newer players in. Ahsoka, to be honest, I don't know nothing about this character. I've never even had a mindset to even play this character. So as far as difficulty on her, I have no clue.
When it comes to Asuka in general, it will definitely place her in easy mode. A lot of her moves are pretty easy to understand. So you don't have to necessarily learn a lot of like strings or anything crazy for you to do well with her. And if you learn how to do her parry, then a lot of people can't touch you early rank because they don't know to stop mashing.
Right. Leroy.
I honestly want to say that Leroy is pretty easy as well, because if I'm going on the logic that Asuka with her parry is going to be really strong, Leroy is really the same. It doesn't take a lot for him to do his parry setups, and he has his own really easy mode type of stances that keep him to where he's always kind of safe.
So similar to Asuka, going in pressing buttons, you're bound to get something to work, and plus you got punch parries and stances. Everyone and their mama was using Leroy in Tekken 7, bro. I remember a tournament where top 8 was nothing but Leroy. Lily.
I'm not scared.
Me neither.
Because she's just very evasive. You know, her stuff's pretty straightforward, but at the same time, it's not easy to deal with. I do feel like a lot of her stuff, like her launcher, is pretty. I don't want to say safe because it's not necessarily safe, but it's really easy for her to still do her attacks and be spaced out to where you can't punish it easily. And because of that, if people aren't used to sidestepping, because that's how you beat Lily, you have to sidestep her. If people aren't used to sidestepping, then she's going to bully you. I want to at least say she's easy. Maybe mid.
Claudio.
Claudio.
Hey, I'm gonna say this. If Nagato playing the character must be easy.
Wow.
And yes, that's a shot at Nagato. Alright? That is a clear shot.
That's mean. That's mean.
Bang.
Sir.
Bang.
I do feel like Claudio is pretty. His game plan is very simple. He wants to dash punch you. He wants to get his buff, and then after he gets his buff, he wants to shoot you with the arrow. I'm gonna still lean towards easy, but I understand Claudio players. Not all of you do that. I mean, that's the thing, is like you're only really poking to keep them from ducking, because then you're gonna dash punch, and you're +6. So you're gonna keep doing that.
Wait, so you're +6 with the power up or just regular dash punch?
Regular.
You're +6 with regular dash punch?
Yes.
So what is it with the buff?
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. Wow. I might have to try him out. I don't even know how to say her name, but Azucena?
Azucena.
Azucena. Gotcha.
Yeah. Coffee lady. Coffee queen.
Another new introduction to the series of Tekken. So this is probably going to be a wild input, but I feel like most stance characters are not easy.
So this one is interesting to me. She is probably the only stance character that I would consider to be an exception to the rule.
Really?
In the fact that a lot of her kit automatically goes into stance and gives you really simple, straightforward options for her to pick. So, you know, you're gonna basically jab, go right into stance, go low, or go mid. Like, you don't really need to, like, think that hard about it. Yeah, I'm gonna say she's a pick-up as well. I think she's pretty easy. I ain't gonna hold you. Even with the stances, I think she's pretty easy. If someone wants to agree, I get it, but I don't know, man.
I think Next Phase says she's like easy/mid, so yeah, she might be safe to put in easy. Raven. Now, personally, and Kelvin, you're probably a prime witness to this, I haven't went against a lot of Ravens, probably 1 or 2. I can see that this character has teleports, moving left and right, summoning shadow clones, so he's definitely a mid-range bully, I would say.
I do think that this Raven is probably the best he's ever been, and I do think he has a lot of good options to kind of keep people away yeah, and poke, and he does have a lot of good, like his running knee is really, really good at, you know, doing combos. But once he gets in the back turn, some people, I've literally seen some people lose because they didn't know what to do once his back was turned. Like, they just completely lost the character and his movement. So personally, I'm definitely gonna say he's hard. I think he's a hard character to pick up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because like I said, I never really played the character, never ran across characters too many times, but based off of what I've seen, I could just know up front that he's probably not, I'm new to Tekken, this is who I could probably play. Dragunov, Mr. Top 5.
Dragunov.
Mr. Plus Frames.
I'm going to do my best to take my bias out of it, because I do think that he is borderline busted in this game. I don't necessarily think that he's quite the I'm gonna pick up and mash character all the time. Like, he can mash because he has good normals. He has really good normals. If you play Tekken well, he's very, very strong, obviously. Right. He has while running too, which is +6 also, and that's insane. Not to mention, you know, it's not easy to even step anymore. But he does have, you know, some grabs that you kind of have to keep in mind for him to set up his offense with. Nah, he's easy, dog. I'm sorry. Listen, all right, I tried.
I'm listening to what you're saying, Kelvin, but I wanted to interrupt so bad to be like, Kelvin, let's just say this man is easy. Do Dragunov still have his dash step cancel to where he'll dash in, then you gotta like step back in order to like keep the juggle going? That's probably the only technical thing about the character. But besides that, it's poking, plus frames, running twos, and just getting your opponent how you want them to be conditioned and setting up the grabs. So it's like, besides that, I don't think there's nothing difficult about the character. This character is winning.
Yeah, we'll put him easy, for sure. Character stress me out, man.
Kuma, I haven't played the bear. Well, no, I think I fought one bear.
Is easier than what he used to be, but Kuma in itself also has a lot of different stances and states that he has to worry about, because he could actually do moves off the ground. So if he's laying down, he has a certain move kit. If he's face down or on his back, he has a certain move kit. Like, he has a lot of moves that you kind of have to think about as you play bears. And he is slow when it comes to his normals, so it's really easy to pressure bears. So for the person to really kind of get their offense going, they really kind of need to learn, like, hey, I need to back up a little bit, and then I can start to bull rush in. Because of those factors, I'm not going to say that he's easy. That also being said, in Heat, he has a Electric Wind God Fist that doesn't require just input. So I think that's pretty, I don't think he's hard per se. I think he's mid.
Yeah, mid.
I think he's average on his difficulty. Yeah, so Leo's a stance character, and in that case, you know, he would probably be at least an average. That being said, he does have a couple of extra things that you have to think about when it comes to his pressure. So I'm still gonna say mid, but he's easier than the last game.
Shaheen, easy?
No, he's not easy.
Not easy?
He's simple. No, he's not easy. He's simple. I know. You played a couple of Shaheens and you're like, what do you mean? He himself used to be the most honest character. I don't think he's honest anymore in this game. But he used to be pretty honest in last game. You do have to have a really good understanding of how pokes work for him to be viable. You have to understand how slide is going to be effective for his offense. You have to understand how to side switch, because you're going to be side switching when you do a slide. Right. So he has some things that he has to do to be effective. And he's not going to necessarily just run over you with random buttons. That's not how Shaheen works. If you try that, you're probably going to get messed up. But simple doesn't always mean easy. It just means that he's simple.
Okay. Alright, because I was definitely about to be biased and say he's simple, because his game plan doesn't look like it's really that heavily kitted on, like, doing too much. It's poke, and then I'm about to try and sneak in this slide and see if you react to it. Yoshimitsu.
Hard.
Hard?
We don't even need to discuss Yoshimitsu, to be honest with you. But if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But man, character's got so many different moves and stances that don't even make sense. He kills himself sometimes. He heals himself other times. He's got moves that you don't even know, like how do I move while I'm in this particular stance? Like when he's standing on his swords, he's going, how do you move forward? He's got a pogo stick option. He's got a helicopter option. It's dumb silly.
All right, cool. All right. As much as I despise the character, if he's that, okay, cool. I'm not even gonna argue that, because definitely, Kelvin, you know way more about him than me. But if he's like that, then cool. Hard indeed. Fang. I do know for sure this character is amazing at controlling the space, and then of course when he's ready to rush, he got a good amount of mids, lows, a good hell sweep. I'm tempted to say he's mid, because I don't think nothing's exactly hard about him. I mean, he do have a back stance, a back step, or you know, a back sway.
I would definitely agree that he's probably on the average side now for this game. Mainly because, he has a lot of different options of approaching. So he can, approach you low. He can approach you with his really strong mids. Right. But he's also got to have an understanding of spacing.
All right, everybody's most asked, I think, Panda. Once again, this is a character I do not see. I haven't fought this character now one time, and I'm not even exaggerating as far as Tekken 8 go.
Right. So the reason why you're not seeing Panda is because Panda is Kuma, but worse.
Interesting.
Unfortunately. So Panda does have a couple of unique moves when it comes to her heat, but they're not an Electric Wind God Fist easy. Like they're not that, unfortunately. It's kind of tough because I kind of want to say that she's hard, but at the same time she's not really that much different from Kuma. I wouldn't be mad if we put her in mid because she still plays, the inherent gameplay is still gonna be the same. So personally, I would put her mid.
Oh, Panda's a girl?
Yes, she's a girl. Oh. So Kuma wants to marry Panda. That's a whole side plot in itself. And Panda is Xiao Yu's best friend, and because Panda is actually older than Kuma, Panda doesn't like Kuma like that. So that's why she's always rejecting him whenever he tries to marry her.
Alisa, easy mode. Easy mode.
Easy mode. All right. I do feel like she's easy. Yes, she is very easy. She does have her chainsaw stance that you have to think about, and she can be stepped. But that's about it. Yeah, she's pretty easy.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, bro. Lee.
If you want to actually make Lee work, you are going to have to play hours and hours and hours of Tekken. Like a lot of hours of Tekken to get his combos and everything correct. So I would honestly probably put him as maybe one of the hardest characters to play. That said, if you just really want to pick up a match with him, he's really just like a defensive version of Law. But yeah, I mean, to do anything with Lee, to really kind of make him work, you're gonna have to learn just frame everything, almost.
Dang.
Yeah, like he's tough. Yes, like if you see a good Lee player, respect him. That came with hours and hours. Probably multiple games of him practicing every night.
Alright, so he's going in front Steve then. Alright, so Zafina, Snake Style, Slither. I'ma evade just about everything that you think about throwing. Do tracking moves even work on this character?
Zafina. Okay. So Zafina is very unique in the fact that her movement, which now before Zafina mains get mad at me, we get it. She's not as strong as she was in Tekken 7, but she went from like top tier to like high tier. She's not bad. She's not bad at all. She has really great movement, really unorthodox options, really evasive. She has a lot of moves that will go under even mids, real easy. And she's just really unique. She's a really unique character. I'm not gonna necessarily say that she's easy because if you just match with her, she starts doing really strange things. Her stances, she also has 3 stances. I would say that she's at least average. But she's not really hard to play. You can learn how to get her and get her going.
Okay, so I was gonna put her in hard due to the fact that she got that many stances.
I'm gonna stick with mid, but if you want to put her in hard, I wouldn't object.
So as a beginner, she's kind of hard, like borderline. Okay. Okay, you know what? I'm glad you said that. From a beginner's point of view, you feel like she's hard. You know what? That's the perfect answer, Kelvin.
That's perfect answer right there. Yep, we'll go with that.
Yep. All right, Victor. So Kelvin, before you, I don't mean to cut you off, right? But before you give your in-depth, critical answer, the chat is already saying this character is borderline brain dead easy. Okay.
I know what they're saying. I know exactly what they're saying.
All right.
And I get it. I understand. I'm just gonna say he is not the absolute easiest in the game. And I know you're probably being like, Calvin, what the heck are you talking about? 1, he does have a stance. 2, some of his options are a little bit unorthodox. He does have a teleport. You have to keep this in mind and not be biased. I understand. He can just run into and frame trap you all day. It's mean. I get it. That sword has a crazy reach, and he has a hell sweep heat smash. I get it. He's not the easiest in the game. Okay? Now, that being said, still put him easy. He's definitely going to go in the easy category.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'm actually kind of heartbroken about this one. Brian is such a fan favorite character. I feel like it's disrespectful that this man was dead last.
So, Brian, in general, I am going to say he's hard. And why am I going to say he's in hard? Because I think he's harder than Law. Honestly, I think he's probably harder than Nina. It's because, 1, his normals are not quick, necessarily. They require a lot of knowledge when it comes to spacing for them to actually be able to land properly. 2, if you want to get any of his good combos going, you have to learn a lot of unorthodox things that you may not have to think about for other characters.
Right.
Such as his ability to be able to taunt. His taunt actually, 1, it gives him a buff in this game, so you need to be doing that. On top of that, you need to be able to taunt against the wall to do setups for unblockables and a number of other things. And not to mention, if someone tries to run you down and you're not careful, you could get stuffed out. Like, you need to be able to do your spacing. You need to know when you can do Snake Edge. You need to do a lot of unsafe things just to really do your damage.
What's up, game? I feel like this is telling me the game is pretty balanced. I was just about to get at that. Kelvin, do you see the layout for easy, mid, and hard?
Yeah, I do. And I do think the game is also very balanced when it comes to the character selection.
Yeah, this is actually the most balanced I've ever made a tier list. Normally, one category is on like the second tier to where the bar has to drop down a little bit in order to start another row. But this is the first one I've done where it lined up perfectly. All right, so I think not too many people actually disagree with this list. Now, normally, I feel like most tier lists that I've come across, people really had a disagreement, but it seems like most are actually pretty satisfied with this list. So I think that's probably going to be a safe way to end the video. But before I do that, Kelvin, but Trix, ain't nobody worried about that, okay? You play Kings.
Hold on. Trix has a thing.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. Trix play King. But yeah, y'all leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys in the next one.